Okay. So I just need to get some laundry done. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, I painted this, and this is all my paintings. I have a lot of videos on my channel actually from the past and even recently when I started working on another painting again. Bye. So what's on your bingo card for 2025? I've been thinking about this. The 2025 shift has begun. Like, there's this shift. I just feel like it's hard to explain, really. Thank you. This is my thought about the 2025 shift. I believe that the year 2025 is the year when many of us will begin to realize that kindness is better than brash. I know, like right now, and always, there always will be people that promote the brash thing over kindness. But 2025 is a shift, okay? In the year 2025, we start to realize, or this has just been my truth, that you can be a nice person, but you have no interest in being a people pleaser. Because in the past, like, I would say I kind of grew out of this to some extent. Me, I'm American, but I'm like a mixture of English and Syrian. That's my like ethnicity, but my nationality is American. But like my ethnicity, there are different things actually. It's like mostly like my two, which I knew before I took a DNA test, but like when they were updated recently, like it shows that those are the top two things, and I'm some other little things, but those are the top two things. Anyway, so this is just my whole point or thought process on just wanting to get away from negativity culture and all the things that it kind of embodies. Because I feel like we live in a society that promotes the brash. Like people being brash, people just being kind of cruel, and I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Like, okay, yeah, there's things going on in the world and in the news that I think, just my 2 cents, I don't think they're great. But on the same token, I don't want to be part of that. Like, I just don't want to be part. I mean, it's very, I guess my ethnicity is not like common, but it was just like it was basically a thing where there were some Syrian people that moved to this part of Indiana, and of course they married people that lived there, and that kind of is what was like the catalyst for my ethnic mix. It's kind of rare, but yeah, I don't know. It's rare, but it's not. Anyway. But this is my whole thought about 2025. I feel like we just have like all these people that want us to live in negativity. And I'm not saying that there aren't bad things that happen in this world, but I refuse to be part of the bad things that happen in this world, you know? I refuse. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to participate in mean people culture or brash people culture. Like some people that came to my page, like they thought that I should just think that's cool and submit and like want to agree that that's okay. But I don't agree that that's okay. Because there's plenty of people in the world that want to be brash, that want to participate in the brash culture, but I want nothing to do with it. Actually, I just want to think about building up kindness and introverted thought, and I kind of want to promote a world where people are accepted for who they are. Like, be yourself as long as you're not hurting someone else. As long as being yourself isn't about, like, tearing other people down, I don't see why you can't be yourself, you know? That's kind of my take on life. I know that's not popular with some, but anyway, that's mostly what my page is about, and I'm always going to continue just being myself and living the kind of life that I know is good for an introverted person. Like, introverted people, we can be empathetic, we can be kind, but we're not on this earth to, like, be in some sort of competition and contest. In the past, like I said, I felt like I was somewhat of a people pleaser because I don't like confrontation and I don't like friction. But I started to realize recently that it's just because I don't like conflict and confrontation. And I'll always be polite to people, but I have no interest in like people pleasing. Like, some people are like, oh, they need to, like, well, here's an example. Like, somebody's going door to door and they say, I'm a lowly poor college student who needs, like, you to buy something from me, or if they're in a parking lot, needs you to buy something from me so I can go to school. Like, 9 times out of 10, that's a scam. Okay, anytime somebody approaches you and they have like a sob story, and I notice like now a lot of them are going on this app called Nextdoor. Like, I need food, I need rent, but there aren't. Well, in the U.S. anyway, I can't talk about other countries, and they're doing this in Southern California in the U.S. There are organizations that have like emergency housing, and there are churches, and there's city food banks. So like, if somebody was really starving, like if they were really like that down on their luck, they could utilize these organizations. And there's people that give people things. But the truth is, like, somebody was saying that they got scammed this evening out of somebody, like, trying to sell books or magazines door to door, and how they never received whatever it was that they paid for. Don't answer your door. Like, if somebody that you know comes to your door and knocks on it, don't answer it. If you're in a parking lot and you're shopping, like, this is kind of my approach, and it might be, I don't know. I just am like, oh, okay, and I'll say something to them, but I keep walking and I don't engage because I'm like, I'm there to do my thing. And 9 times out of 10, people that are trying to sell you something in a parking lot, it just feels scammy. It just does. Because there's plenty of people that are doing businesses in a legitimate way. They're not like harassing people in parking lots or going door to door to try and sell something scammy. So I would just be aware of your surroundings at all times. And if you're at home, you don't have to answer the door like ever. And some people might be like, oh, that's not being a good citizen, that's not helping people out. But these scam artists, you can be kind, but being kind like starts with helping your family and helping people you actually know. You can be kind, but don't fall for a scam. Like, if you want to help somebody, donate some food to a local food bank. I don't know, buy a lunch for a homeless person. But please don't fall for these scams where people are in like the Walmart parking lot, or they're knocking on your door and they have some sad, desperate story about how they're down and out, because guess what? They're not. It's a scam. They know exactly what to say. Like, I've encountered this so many times, and my dad fell for it one time. He was like there was this lady, and they use children. It's kind of gross, you know how they use children, and they work in pairs, and they have different ones. Like, one was like, oh, my child can't afford to have Christmas presents. Yes, I am always busy because I have to get things done on my days off, which these are my 2 days off, so I'm very busy just trying to keep things up. So, but anyway, like, it would be, like, one of the scams would be in the Walmart parking lot, like on a Friday or Saturday, not Friday, not weekend nights, basically. You would have what appeared to be a mom walking around with this little kid saying, oh, I can't afford to buy my child Christmas gifts, but if you bought like this little thing, like they would probably go into Walmart and buy a glow in the dark bracelet, something like that. Which back in the day when I was young in the 80s, like those things were so exciting to me. Like, oh my gosh, like a glow in the dark bracelet. Like I wanted one so bad. I remember one time when we went to like this circus through my dad's work. Like I just wanted one as a kid. I was like, I want that, but I was like told no, that was a waste of money. I try to be clean. It's very important to me. So this one scam was these people would be walking around the parking lot trying to sell things, and my dad like fell for it. He's like, oh, this poor lady, she can't like buy her child Christmas gifts. And I'm like, you know what, I don't even think that's her child. Okay, I told my dad that I'm pretty sure the child she was with in the parking lot was not her child, and that they're doing a scam because I see them walking back and forth. And he fell for this a couple of times. In fact, he gave he's a little too generous. He's a good guy. Sometimes he falls for it. He gave like this lady with a Betsy Wetsy doll. Okay, it's like one of those dolls. It's like a baby that you would like give it water and it would wet itself. Like, why did they ever made a doll like that? So strange. Such a strange doll. Basically, it's a mold harboring doll because it's made out of rubber, and you would squeeze it and it would squeeze out the water. I'm like, I think mold grew in those things. I'm pretty sure of it. Such a strange toy. Such a strange toy. But anyhow, um, yeah, he gave her like a couple dollars. And then this time with the lady that was selling like the glow in the dark bracelets, like he bought one for $3. So I'm like, Dad, that's a scam. And besides, that's somebody exploiting their child. If they were walking around, it was cold outside that night, like 40 degrees. That might not be cold in some parts of the country, but for California, that can be cold. You're walking around with like a 6-year-old in a parking lot, like saying that you can't afford to get them a Christmas gift, which is a lie, by the way, because once again, if people were like in such a bad, like, if they were in such dire straits, there are like these organizations that will get Christmas gifts for people who can't afford. Like, there's like Christmas toy drives. A lot of fire departments do them, police departments do them, churches do them. Like, for people that like legitimately can't afford to buy their children Christmas gifts, they do a Christmas drive, and people donate toys or money to get these kids Christmas gifts. Like, this is actually a thing. So there would be absolutely no need on this planet for somebody to go walking around Walmart parking lot unless they wanted to buy their kids something super outrageous. Like, in this case, they didn't want to get their kids a Christmas gift. Maybe they wanted to buy themselves some Christmas toys and their kids. And I told my mom, oh my gosh, my dad fell for the scam again. Like, he's always falling for these scams for somebody's, like, it's like a sad, they always have a sad sob story. One is, oh my gosh, I can't afford to buy my child a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. And they'll be walking around, but you could buy this candy bar for like $2 and help raise funds for my child to have a good Christmas. Like, they're tugging at your heartstrings. So you're like, oh no, your son isn't gonna have a good Christmas gift. Oh my gosh, poor thing. Like, and then, okay. And then later I told my mom, yeah, scam. We saw the same child with a different lady.
Okay, maybe it was like a group of sisters, and one was the aunt and one was the mom. But this was like an hour later because my dad loves to take his time shopping when we were at Walmart this time. So like an hour later, they came up to us, and of course they're approaching so many people, but maybe they're not very slick because they didn't realize. Well, it was a different lady, so of course she didn't realize, but same child, and came up to us and the same story, and we're like, and I said to her, there was a different lady earlier that came to up to us with the same child saying it was her kid and she was raising money for a Christmas toy. And I'm like, where did the other lady go? And they walked away really fast when I asked. Because I'm like, yeah, of course, we know you're doing scammy scam. And then there's a variation of the scam, and I've encountered this on several occasions. I encountered it once on a college campus when I was like, I don't know, I'm like a college student, and and it didn't feel right, okay? And I encountered it again years later with like high school students doing this and college students. They'll be like, I am poor and I come from an unfortunate background, but I'm looking to better my circumstances and win a trip to, with the college student, was Cancun. Win a trip to Cancun? What, you want to go spring breaking? Or I guess now, like some of them are going door to door saying, I want to win a trip to Europe or Italy, and will you buy these magazines? Well, I knew like when I was approached this first time, I don't know, I felt like as a people pleaser that I was supposed to listen to this person. And maybe my people pleasing has actually gone down quite a bit since that time. But then I thought, wait a minute, why am I listening to this person? I'm a college student. I'm getting financial aid. I'm not rich. Why am I going to feel sorry for this guy who says that he needs a donation? That makes absolutely no sense. So I said, you know what? I'm not rich. I can't afford to buy a magazine from you? Like, because it was weird. It wasn't even like regular magazines. Like I asked, do you have like at the time? It was like, do you have like Time or anything like that? And he goes, oh, I have like George magazine or something. The one, and it was like real obscure magazines. I'm like, oh, okay, scam. I knew it was a scam. And he got really mad. He's like, oh, you made me talk to you and try and sell the magazine. And then I just knew after that, we're not talking to these people. And I think another time I did open my door when a high school kid was like playing that scam. He started talking about how like the neighbor, like sob, how he would do anything to sell the magazine, and how this one neighbor made him rake her yard for like 3 hours, and poor little thing, and how I should buy a magazine from him. Sad sob story. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have any interest in buying the magazine, but here's $1. Like I actually gave him $1 that time. And he's like, oh, thank you. I'm like, what an act. What an act. He probably thought I'd be stupid enough to buy like something with a credit card, because and I guess this is what they're doing now is like instead of the credit card, they're using like Apple Pay or like Zelle or something, like when they do their door-to-door scam. Like these scams have been around in different incarnations for years, but if somebody's coming to your door to sell something with a sob story, or they're approaching you in a parking lot to sell you something with a sob story, you don't have to buy it. You just don't, and you don't even really have to say anything to them. All you have to kind of say is good night and bye. You don't have to engage with the scammers, because obviously it's not a legitimate business, and there's lots of people that actually go out, and I know people are going to be like, but this economy is so hard and it's hard to get a job, and but there are people that are working really hard, like they're pushing themselves to find work, like legitimate work, not like scamming like hardworking people in parking lots or door to door. Like those are scams. So you don't have to worry about somebody's sob story, because guess what? You're not rich. If you're not like some billionaire and they're trying to sell you something with a sob story, all you have to say is, you know what? I don't think I'm doing that great either. Why should I give my hard earned money to your scam? Because it might be a scam, and it most likely is a scam. 9 times out of 10 is a scam. There might be a couple legitimate ones, but a lot of these are scams. Scams. You don't have to pay for a scam. Because like I said, if these people were really experiencing hard times, I don't think that they'd be trying to win a trip to Italy selling magazines. And I just wouldn't believe it. Like anybody who's going, because like, well, you know, maybe 20 years ago people bought, I guess some people still do like magazines. I personally don't buy them. Like I'm not going to buy a magazine. Occasionally I'll buy books, but I have so many books. Besides, like, why are you going to buy books when you could check them out at the library? This makes no sense. You don't need to buy books, friends. You can if you want to, though. But I'm just saying, like, there's free or low-cost ways to get books. And then the candy bar one, like, oh, my son he's so poor and I can't afford to get him into soccer. Like, okay, maybe some of that is a scam that's forced upon the kids. Because I know back in the days, like, some schools used to like hand out these magazines and be like, kids, you have to sell these things to raise revenue for schools and blah blah blah. So maybe some of that is something that the kids are kind of forced into doing. But a lot of this stuff is scams. You don't have to buy it. You just don't. Okay? That's all. I don't know, if you want to do something good for your local community, just donate some food to a food bank, or you could buy some food for homeless people, or you could give something to a neighbor. If you know somebody legitimately that's in need, you could help somebody you know instead of the scammer. Just my 2 cents. But you know, everybody has different priorities. I'm just saying, don't fall for the scams. And you don't have to feel guilty not falling for the scams, because I feel like people, we're trained to be nice, we're trained to be compassionate. And a lot of us are very compassionate. And we should treat people well, but we also need to remember in desperate times, more people are going to get more desperate. There's going to be more sad down and out stories. And they're going to be like approaching people that are working hard. They're not approaching some CEO of a company with these sad sob stories. They're approaching you. And here's another version. You know, like at the store, when they ask you to make a donation to this and this organization, a corporation's asking you as a customer, it's kind of scammy, because guess what? That's a tax write-off for them, and they can afford to make it. So they make you in line feel guilty if you don't make it. But like I said, I would rather donate money or food to a food bank, or just buy a homeless person food. You don't have to do it the way that other people do it. So yeah, you can be charitable without being part of the scam culture. Here's another scam. It's the funeral like collection scam, where you'll have some people and they're on the they're near a freeway off ramp. And I didn't really know about this one until I looked it up. So I used to see, and it would always be because I'm a pedestrian. There is a perk to being a pedestrian, and also I just keep an eye out for things. Like I kind of watch things, and I kind of like to observe things and see what's happening around me. And some people get really shocked and surprised that I notice, like if they come in or they're walking by. But I notice things and I see things because I just like to be aware of things. So as a pedestrian, you just see a lot of things. And I started noticing that there was this family that was always, and I realized after a while it was the same family, and they were there different weeks. Oh yes, those are pretty bad, and those seem to live on Craigslist. But now, do you know where they live? Those new scam job ads. Now they're using Nextdoor. Nextdoor has got to be our new scam friend. Like Nextdoor is full of scammers. It's either full of people that just want to complain about somebody making noise, which, like, if somebody's making noise and they're bothering you, where's code enforcement? Or they want to ask their neighbors, like, like, did you see this person walking up and down the street? They seem suspicious. Yeah, call the police. Like, what is your fellow complainer on Nextdoor? So this is why I rarely look at Nextdoor. Like I looked at it a few times, so I'm like, what is the point of this app? You have a whole bunch of people, or you have scammers, like they're posting fake jobs or something. But yeah, Craigslist, and now they're using Nextdoor. Who knows? They're probably using TikTok too. But yeah, those are not real. But yeah, they do that. But the funeral donation scam, like on the freeway over off ramp, I saw the same family every other weekend. I think this was like their like weekend activity, okay? So, and I recognized them after a while because they had posters with these people that looked like, I don't know how you would describe, you know, like the posters you see inside the post office with the missing persons, like young people. They kind of looked like that. They looked like those people. And I almost wondered if they like took pictures of like missing people, like they, or just found random photographs, because I started looking at them after a while, and the pictures of the person that they said passed away, it looked like a photograph of somebody that was from the early 2000s, and this was a couple of years ago. This was like in the summer of 2021, and I'm like, this is weird. I've seen the same family every weekend. They're on the freeway off ramp, okay, near the donut shop. Um, and they're talking about how they need to raise funds for a funeral. But I'm like, did this same person die multiple times? Because it was like the same person. It was like pictures of some lady, like a younger woman. And on 3 different, every other weekend. I'm like, I don't see how they were raising. And I just thought it was weird, but I'm not going to approach them. I'm not going to talk to them. I just walked by as they were flashing these posters at cars walking by. And I just kept going on my merry way. But I decided to come home and look it up. And I was like, is there something about soliciting funds for a funeral scam? And oh, yes, there was. And apparently the same type, it might not be the same family, but there's people that do it. And they do it all around Southern California. It's a scam. Because, yeah, if you were really in such desperate need of like a funeral, like if you were so poor you couldn't bury someone, I'm sure, I mean, it's not going to be a grand funeral, but your local, like, municipality, like a church, a mosque, I'm sure somebody would help you, like, with a basic burial. It wouldn't be like a fancy burial, but these people really weren't burying a family member. It's a scam. It's a kind of, it's another one of those tug at your heartstrings scam. But yeah, just don't fall for the scams, friends. Scams are scams for a reason, because there's a lot of people that want to make money in shady ways. And I predict, because I've been seeing more of them and hearing more of them, I predict you're going to see more of them as the weeks go by. You kind of have to just, like, if you're walking through a parking lot, you just have to pretend to be very engaged. Like, we don't need to talk to everybody. Like, anybody who's trying to get your attention that you don't know in a parking lot, I just assume 9 times out of 10 they don't have a good intention. I'm going to say it. 9 times out of 10, anybody who's trying to stop me in a parking lot and thinks that I can help them obviously doesn't need my help. But they probably need to scam me. Probably. But, you know, just be unscammable. Oh, my favorite one was when Spectrum came to my door and they needed to work on my, well, no, the first part was, okay, so this was like 4 years ago. And this guy came to the door and he wasn't even wearing a Spectrum like uniform. He just had like a face mask that said Spectrum on it, but it didn't even look like the Spectrum logo. It was like yellow. It was bright yellow. And you know, I pay attention to details, and I never should have opened the door that day. Shame on me for opening the door, because I don't usually open the door if I don't recognize somebody. I usually just don't. Like, I'll look through the peephole, and if I don't know who you are, I'm not opening the door. And I only know like a few people that I can count on one hand that would be coming to my door. So yeah, if I don't recognize you, I should never open the door. I just shouldn't. Because you would have no reason for me as an introvert to be coming to my door, right? Yeah, this guy who was wearing a mask who said Spectrum on it. And I can't believe I opened the door. Naughty on me. Shame on me for opening the door. So anyway, he's like, oh, I'm here to disconnect your cable for non-payment. And I said, I don't even have cable service. And then he's like, he says my name and he says, this is your address and your name. I'm like, it might be, but you're wrong because I pay my bill all the time. And then he like starts recalibrating his story. He's like, oh, well, we just need to check the wires because there's a problem with the wires. And I said, no, there isn't. And I said, I have to go. And he looked all like frazzled that I wasn't going to let him in. And I just closed the door. And I called Spectrum. I said, oh, by the way, like, were you arranging to have somebody come out and work on my cable? But I don't have cable. I just have internet. And they said, nope, nobody was scheduled to come to your location. And it's another scam. So anytime that's like if you didn't call, like, the electric company, the gas company, or like your internet service provider to come like do maintenance, it's a scam. It's just a scam. That's another popular scam. And I predict there's going to be more of those. And a lot of people, they want to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm being a good person by like letting these people in. No, don't let these people in. Just don't do it. Like, a lot of people used to get mad at me too. They'd be like, you don't really trust people when you're walking, or people that just approach you, like you have a barrier up. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I do. And even with just like, okay, even if it's not somebody trying to sell you something, if it's just like some guy, like as a woman that approaches you, like when I was younger, like this guy met me like when I was walking and he stopped to talk to me and said that he needed directions. No, you didn't, because everybody has a cell phone. You don't need directions from me. Oh, dude, can I get your number? And I was very naive and I gave it to him. And then later he's like, oh, but you seem like you were just too, like, you just seem too, like, closed off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm walking. I learned a big lesson. You don't give your number to anyone. You don't talk to anyone that tries to stop you anytime. They don't have any reason to be talking to you. If they need help, they can call the police, and that's it. And that's my belief. Like, if somebody tells me, oh, I need help. No, you don't. Oh, I need your number. No. Any man that you don't know that's trying to get your number, if you're walking, probably doesn't have a good intention. My opinion. That could be wrong. You might say, oh no, but I'm the greatest guy. Maybe you are. Maybe you're the exception. But I just don't trust anyone, because after I got to, like, I made a mistake actually talking to that guy. He could have been, I don't know, could have been somebody really scary. But it turned out that my first intuitions about him just being kind of dodgy were correct. It turned out that he had like 3 kids with this woman he'd been in a relationship with for 10 years. And I'm like, oh, and you guys never got married? He's like, yeah, she didn't want to. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe it for 1 second. But anyway, he turned out to be like a total like user. Like, I think whatever, like that was weird. It's just the caliber of some people these days. And I was like, I am so glad that my intuition told me that was weird and that wasn't right. Anybody that tries to stop you anytime, any place, oh, what? You seem like aloof. You don't seem super friendly. Well, I'm an introvert and you're an introvert and we have an excuse. We don't trust anybody.com. We don't trust anybody because 9 times out of 10, somebody that tries to stop us with their sob story has a bad intention. And that's just how it is. And that's just the truth. And I want to keep you and me safe. I want to keep us safe. So we're not going to fall for their scams. Like, anytime somebody approaches you, we're not going to fall for their scams. And it's the same with the internet too. Like, a lot of people want to be scammers on the internet. Like, if somebody's inviting you to a WhatsApp group for a cryptocurrency, Being an introvert is best. I'm telling you. This is why I'm all about promoting introverted content in 2025, because I just feel like, I'm not saying all introverts are the best people, but I feel like a lot of introverts are are good people. Like, I'm not saying extroverted people aren't good, because I know there's a lot of kind-hearted extroverted people, but I just feel like a lot of introverted people, we're kind, but we don't want to be taken advantage of, and we've seen how society acts, and we know, like, oh, some of us, like, I can be nice to people, and I do talk to people and say hi, but I've never been super social. Like, I'm friendly, but I'm not like super social. Like, I don't go to bars, I don't go out and hobnob with people, because I just don't trust like a lot of scenarios, and I just always observed and kept an open mind, and I just feel like introverted people were cued into these things, and that's good. And I just want to cue everybody else in. You don't have to give money to someone because they have a sob story, because 9 times out of 10 their sob story isn't true. It's just not, because there's organizations that would help them, and their job is not to like get help. Their job is to be a scammer, and they know you will feel sorry for them, because, oh, poor them, they're in such a bad situation in life, but you can help them because you have a kind heart. And no, we're not about that anymore in 2025. We can help people we know in our local community, but not them, not the scammers. Anyway, enough said about that. But also, don't join WhatsApp scams. Like, anytime somebody says they have an earning opportunity for you via WhatsApp, don't do it. Like, I knew somebody recently who fell for the scam, and that's like anything related to crypto and WhatsApp, or anytime that a job says we need to meet on WhatsApp and you need to spend money to invest in your job. No, your job pays you. You don't pay money to learn a job. Not true. So, yeah, be skeptical of job listings too. Be very skeptical of many things, like vet things. And if you have been taken advantage of, report it. Like, because scams are illegal. They just are. They're not legal. Like, if somebody like took you on a WhatsApp group and you lost money, yeah, I don't invest in cryptocurrency at all. Like, I don't trust that thing with a 10-foot pole. But not only that, they're preying upon people who want to pay off their student loans, or like their housing payment. Like, oh, you could invest in this opportunity and you have to pay money to join. And I knew somebody, they fell for this recently, and they're like, and this WhatsApp group was going to train me how to sell crypto. And I'm like, oh no, that's a scam. That is a scam. That's a pig butchering scam, by the way. No, don't fall for them. Don't do it. And it's not a real pig that's butchered. It's just a scam where basically they're looking for, euphemistically, I would say, no, I do not have WhatsApp. I don't like WhatsApp. I'm talking about a friend who used WhatsApp on a scam. I don't use WhatsApp. So, like, I tried it years ago with a friend, and I'm like, what is the point of WhatsApp? I don't get it. It's a messaging app. I don't like them. I hate messaging apps. What's the point? Like, anybody I know has my number, and we text message. I've talked to a few people on Instagram, but not even much, really. But like WhatsApp, no, I will not use it. And WhatsApp has a very scammy nature to it, where people are using it in a lot of these scams. That's what I'm saying. Okay, on to other things, I guess. I just want to be more positive in 2025 and do things that are good for me and uplifting for me. And that might not be what other people want. Like the things I want to spend my time on probably aren't the things other people would want to spend their time on, but that's okay. I will do things that make me happy always. And that's my main goal in life is to be happy. Like I feel like that's your highest duty is to do things and find things and pursue things that bring you the highest level of happiness and contentment and joy. That's my opinion. Yeah, and WhatsApp is the home of scammers 100% because they can't be traced. Because I think a lot of European people, like when years ago, I used to talk to this guy who had been my pen pal for a while, and then we kind of met one a few times, and he wanted us to text on WhatsApp because he said it was more secure than Facebook Messenger. Because at the time he's like, oh, like Facebook, like uses like your data. But then it turns out later on that I think WhatsApp is owned by Facebook. But like he was like, oh, it's more private and it has encrypted one-to-one chat. I'm like, okay, like because he was so like paranoid about like security or something, and I'm like, who is going to be looking at our chat? So I had tried at that time and I didn't really get the point of like what's out, like, and I don't really talk to him after a while because I'm just like, he lives really far away, plus we had nothing in common really, so I don't know, I didn't keep talking to him. So but anyway, what was I gonna say? I did have a few encounters with just, well, I just know like that was my only experience with WhatsApp, was just a pen pal I had. I'm sure other people in other groups use it, but it was just he was very obsessed with it. I know a lot of people in Asian countries use it. I don't know. I know a lot of people in China use it. But I think now they have some of their own chat things that they use, because I don't even know if they're supposed to. Like, I think mostly Chinese people use WeChat more than WhatsApp. So, but I'm just giving examples of how some people really liked it, and I did see some scams on it, but I don't use it. Few people I know, they just text me like directly, like mostly, and that's good enough for me. I don't even text that much anymore. Like I think I used to text more, but yeah, I still text, but I'm more limited on how I text and when. I don't know. I think texting was more fun for me, like when it was a novelty, like when I first discovered it. And my mom really does love to text. I tell you, like she used to say she would never own a cell phone, but then when she discovered them, she's become like a connoisseur of text messaging, and she loves to send me. And I will text my mom, and when we text, like with my friends and my mom, like we text long paragraphs and complete sentences and stories, not like just one sentence replies. Like it's long, full, thought out text messaging, like a lot, deep. But anyway, did I hang up everything? Let me go check. I try to make talking interesting with everybody that comes to my chat. I hope, like, I enjoy hearing what people have to talk about as well. I do. I enjoy hearing a lot of everybody's takes on the world, like people that are nice and respectful. I do like that. And I just want the world to be a better place. I really do. And a happier place and more thoughtful place, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think I hung everything up. I was kind of going at it a little bit slower. I don't know. It's late at night. That's why. Thanks for watching.